Vishal, co-founder and developer at Socialinsder. Join me for the next live training webinar.
Hi guys, here we are at a new webinar about working with Social Insider. So let's begin. Today's topic is about history data. When you add a profile in Social Insider, what can you get for that profile for the history periods? So 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 year ago, and today's topic is that we're gonna shed some light on this particular topic. So let's begin. When you add a social profile in Social Insider, you click Add Social Profile, and you see all these options. When you can add Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube channels, and hashtags, Instagram hashtags or Twitter hashtags. But not all of these are equal, and we're going to discuss in detail some specific aspects about each platform and about each kind of profile that you can add. So first, let's begin with Facebook competitors pages. So when you add a Facebook competitor page, so for instance, my ex employer, Bitdefender, I have good memories there, and you added what's going on behind the scenes. So you see that in step 3, you can choose the history scan length for the page. So this allows you to get data for the last 2 months, 3 months, or up to a year. But we actually had clients for which we gathered the history data for up to 4 or 5 years. But we're doing that on a case-by-case basis. So immediately after you add the page, what's going on? Our script in the background gather data from 2 tracks. First track is the post track. So let's see it in action. When you load the page, it will wait a minute. Well, I'm working on a test version and I just restarted it. Okay. So the post track gets all the posts from the for that page for up to 1 year, 2 years, or several months. And from those posts, that's the activity of the page, we get to compute the engagement, for instance. But the fan count is another thing, because Facebook doesn't allow access to fan counts for history period. So that means we will only have the fan count for today, and tomorrow we're gonna add the fan count number for tomorrow, and so on. So this means that we can only have the fan counts for the pages or profiles that that someone adds in Social Insider. So when somebody adds, for instance, someone added the Bitdefender, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and in this case we will get the fan counts for each day of the last 2 years. But if it's a new page, that means we will only have the fan count from today onwards. So what does this mean for for all of these charts? Let me show you the charts that are affected by the fan count being only available from that day on. So obviously the global fan count evolution, that will be only available from that day on, and the engagement rates numbers. So the average engagement rate per post, because this is the average engagement divided by the number of fans and multiplied by 100 because it's a percentage. So and the engagement rate per page. So again, these two KPIs are affected by this because they will only work for periods where we have the fan counts. Against fan growth, that's the daily diff, the net change in the number of fans daily. And that's about it because the other charts are post related. So the post, the engagement, so the activity of the page, the engagement of the fans, those will be only dependent on the posts. So be sure to maybe uh, to select the same amount, maybe 1 year for everything. And because if you make a query for the last, I don't know, 3 years in 2007, the post will not be available. So you will have zero post, and then come chat us in support, and if you need the data in 2017, we'll be able to retrieve it. Um, we're doing this because the Facebook's API doesn't have anything where you can have the you can get the creation date for the page or the profile. So you have to go into the past and get the post, and well, at one point there will be no more posts. So you will only assume that that's when the page started. One more thing about the own pages. So this is again a little different. So what we can gather here is that for the own pages, you can get the fans evolution. You can only and you can get the fan counts for a history period. So if you select 6 months ago, we will be able to retrieve the fan counts for the last six months. So that's okay. One more thing to note is that we can also we will also show the charts with fan losses and gains, and because this is available via their insights. Again, in the owned posts, um, what do the own pages have more than the competition pages is the insights data. So, but bear in mind that the insights data is only available for the last 2 years. So insights like reach and impressions and video views, um, this will be available. One more thing about the way we gather the data is the paid media. So let me show you in MR's case. So in this case, we have 5 posts likely to be boosted. So this is for competition pages, bear in mind. So, and this is using an algorithm to determine if the posts were boosted or not. And the way we use we make this decision is by analyzing some metrics about that given post. But the most important metric is the engagement evolution. So for instance, in this post, the post was posted in November 15th, and then we 3 or 4 times a day we would refresh the engagement numbers. So in some cases, you see after 6 days it flattens out, and that's okay. But the way we determine if a post was boosted or not is by the way this particular series of engagement numbers looks like. So we analyze the engagement evolution, and in this way we determine if the post was boosted or not. What does this have to do with the history? Well, it's the connection is easy because if you add a page today, and for instance, you want to see which posts were boosted in 2018, we won't be able to have the engagement evolution. So we won't be able to see how we would only get the engagement that 2018 post will have today. So we won't have these numbers on and this slope, and but we will still make the decision, but the accuracy is going to be lower. So again, this matters. Okay, moving on to the next section, Instagram. So in Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, this it is the same like in Facebook. So the posts track is available to get it as much in the past as you want, and but the follower count is only available from today on. One more thing to note is that the follower evolution changed in YouTube. Let me show you. They changed it about in September. No, on in mid-September, yes. So they had the numbers as you see here in this tooltip uh, with all the digits. And what they did in 18th of September was they rounded it up. So, for instance, for this channel that has 2,700,000 subscribers, it would only show up when it grows with 10K subscribers. So you see here a flat line. So the whole month, these whole 2 weeks, it grew only with 10K, and this whole month only with 10K, but no more granular numbers. So this is a thing to note. But other than this, it's pretty much the same. So to one track, post track, the second one is the fans. The fans are usually only available after the day someone adds the page or the profile in Social Insider. Um, now, there are some more data limitations I want to talk to you about. So let's get to Instagram stories. As you can see here, we have two sections about the stories. Stories overview. So these are the KPIs and the charts and what's going on with the stories in the page, and the stories by themselves, and we break them down by day. And for each day, we have some more KPIs. Um, but what the main thing to note here is that the stories are only available from the first day some you add your own Instagram profile onwards. So historical data or analytics about the stories will not be available. Uh, Again, this is an API limitation. One more thing about the stories. Not all the stories will be available in Social Insider because not all of them are available via the API. This is because the stories that are reshares of other stories or posts will not be retrievable via the API. So that's a limitation. One more limitation is that in the stories insights, you only have the taps and the reach and the impressions, and yeah, you don't have, for instance, if you tag someone or if you um, allow engagement on the story, that will not show up on the insights. One more limitation that Instagram has about the post this time is that the IGTV posts will not be available. Um, they are still they still have to add a lot of things in their API, so we'll just wait for that. Okay, now moving on to the last thing I wanted to talk about was the hashtags. Because again, we're working with the platforms here, and Instagram has some limitations, Twitter has some limitations, and let's see what these are. So first of all, in before you can add an Instagram hashtag or you can add competitor profiles, you need to add your own Instagram profile. This is because everything that every query that you do against the Instagram API is going to be made with an access token that is linked to that particular own profile that you have. And let's start with the Instagram hashtags limitations. So the first one is that you have 30 searches in a 7-day sliding window. That means that if you search today for 30 hashtags, you would have to wait 7 days before you would be able to search again for the next hashtag. If you search for one hashtag per day, then the 8th day you would be able to add search again for one more hashtag. No, 30 days. So if you would fill for the whole 7 days period with 30 searches, and then on the 8th day you would be able to make a number of searches equal to the number of searches that you did on Monday, on the first day. So those would clear up. That's how a sliding window works. And some more limitations about Instagram hashtags. Because the Instagram posts are not that will be retrieved are not only posts from business profiles. Those posts will be from regular profiles. So Instagram decided to remove the usernames from the API. They remove the usernames and also the timestamp. So this means what does this mean actually? First thing, when you add a hashtag, what's going on? So we asked the Instagram servers, okay, give me all the posts that you have for this particular hashtag, and these posts come from two different sources. The first source is called recent media. That's the hashtag, the post with that hashtag from the last 24 hours. And that's okay. We can have that. We can do that every day from the day you add that hashtag, and we ask, okay, recent media, what were the last hashtags in the last 24 hours with this hashtag? And top media. And in top media, you would get basically random, not that random because they're sorted by engagement, sample of posts with that given hashtag. What does this mean? So if you have a high volume hashtag like food, this means that for the current day, you would have 1,000 posts with food from the recent media endpoint. And for the history period, we would get 5K posts with that hashtag, which will be the best posts because they will be sorted by engagement. So if you have a really high volume hashtag, you will only get a sample of the hashtags that will be on the platform. But if you have a low volume hashtag, that's about 10K or 20K or 30K posts per month, that's okay because we would be still able to get all the posts. So every day we get 1K posts with that particular hashtags, including the carousel. One thing to note is that the carousels don't have the pick links in them. That's another API limitation. And yeah, if you had a hashtag with more than 30K posts per month, then some posts will indeed be missing. So let's take a look at Tech Hub. So that's the hub we're working in, which is great, by the way. So if you see here, um, this hashtag has 6 posts per day. So obviously, for the last 90 days and maybe even more in the past, we would be able to get a full snapshot, a full capture of these posts. But if you have a high volume hashtag, take a look here. So this hashtag was added, as you can see, in November, 18th of November. So in that first day, we got 600 posts, and in each subsequent day, we got around 500 or 600 posts in that particular day. So nothing new here. But for the history posts, those are pretty even spread out, and um, yeah, they're 40, 50, 20 posts per day, because these posts come only from the top media endpoint. One more thing to note is that the engagement for these history posts is really big, because as the endpoint tells you, they're the top media. Yep, so that's the limitation for Instagram hashtags. And the limitation from Twitter hashtags, these are pretty simple. Only the tweets from the last 7 days, and we'd get 3K tweets from these past 7 days. And each day we would get at most 3K tweets. So that means about 90K tweets per month. So if you have a high volume hashtag with more than 90K tweets per month, some tweets will be missing, but that's rarely the case. We did scan last month a tweet hashtag that went viral to #1, and we managed to get the data. Yep, I think that's pretty much all that I can say about the data limitation, the history data limitation that we have. If you have some questions, I see there are no questions in the chat, so I think all was clear. But if you do have any more questions, do ping us on chat or on support. And yeah, I think that's it for today. And the theme for the next webinar will be a light theme for suited for December, for the start of the holidays. So I think we're gonna dig into the lesser known features of Social Insider, like the theme feature or the auto reports or the schedule, the data update, and there are several little features that maybe not all of you know about. And yeah, we're gonna hear about those next week. That's gonna be just in the start of December. So that's all from me for today. Talk soon. Bye.